we have these two gentlemen who will be sharing with us the unspoken issues in our communities that are facing our young people and probably all of us. And how do we solve them? And how do we prevent? And even how do we support? And without further ado, I want to ask our guests to introduce themselves. And then from there, they'll tell us a little bit about themselves, and we'll go straight to our topic. So I want to start with you, sir. Can you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much, Becky, for having me. I'm Bernard Gakurwa Masharia. I'm an addiction counselor, and I'm currently pursuing a diploma in counseling psychology. And I'm also a recovering alcoholic.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are a recovering alcoholic.
Yeah.
Because today, our topic, viewers, we are looking at drugs and substance. And we are also looking at our young people. How can we help them? And we have Gakuru here with us, who will be shedding more light on that. Yeah. And on my left, please introduce yourself and what you do.
Thank you, Becky. It's an honor to be here. And my name is David Mbitu Mushia. I work with Kenya Prisons in a program on mental health and addiction. I'm also on long-term recovery from alcoholism and drugs.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, David. So even for you, you are a recovering addict.
Yes.
That I remember you told me that is the term.
Yes.
So viewers, we've been looking at mental health. And SGVLC, we support mental health, GBV, and all those. And that's why we have this unspoken reality. And we'll go straight because our topic today is on drugs and how do we recover and how do we support. I'll start with David. Please tell us, by the time you are a recovering addict, what is your background and how has been your journey?
Thank you. My journey has been tough. I was in addiction for more than 10 years. And I started experimenting with drugs when I was in high school. To be specific in Form 2. And I started to experiment with cigarettes, then alcohol, and marijuana. And for some time it was fun. But with the time it got serious because my body developed dependence on the substance. And I could not do without them. And because of the use, there are so many things that happened in my life in terms of my family. It affected my family. It also affected my performance in both the studies and work. And at some point, even people gave up on me because they thought I could never change. And so because of the stigma, people did not even want to associate with me. But when I joined the Kenya Prison Service, okay, the problem still persisted because now I had my own salary. So it actually got worse. But even in the prison department, there are some of the supervisors who were concerned about my abuse of drugs, and they started to like counsel me. And for some time I was in denial. I could not accept that I had a problem. But because now even my body, my health started to deteriorate. I was diagnosed with a disease called pancreatitis and gastritis because of consumption of alcohol. You know, I would consume even the second generation, any alcohol, as long as I could get high, or any substance. I've tried.
Okay.
And now when my health started to deteriorate, I had no choice. I had to decide between life or death.
Okay.
And from that time, that's when now I realized I had to seek help.
You had to seek help.
Yes.
I will come back to you, David. And Gakuru.
Yes.
As you tell us your background and how you started abusing drugs and substance, he has said, sir, do you become an addict just like that, or it's a process as you share your background?
Basically, addiction is a process. There are stages of addiction. Just like David has shared, there is the experimental stage, the first stage. I'm sure everybody has passed through there. It's to taste, to experiment on a drug. But for a real addict, for you to be considered addict, you step back ya mwisho, you become dependent on a drug. So for me, I crossed that line. Basically, we say there is a thin line between being a user and being an addict.
Oh, now we are learning new terms, a user
and being
an addict. And I hope for those who are watching us, our viewers, you are able to learn there is a user and an addict. Because this one we are going to learn all of us.
Basically, when I say a user, ni on experimental stage social drinkers, but I was able to cross that line and become an addict. For me, well, my first drug, I was 16. And I won't lie, it felt good when I took it. My last drug, I was 31 and I was dying.
So 16, you are still in high school like David?
Yeah. My last drug, I was 31 years and I was dying. So there's a lot that happened from the first drink that I took to the last drink that I took. I was still in high school, I was still very young. And by the time I realized that this is not the way to live, but rather this is the way to die, it was actually a bit too late for me. I've wallowed in addiction for 15 years, 10 years active addiction, where basically I lost almost everything. I've ruined relationships, nearly quit mpaka campus and a college. And basically, just like David has shared, it's been a journey. But eventually, the good news is that I'm here. And I'm proof that with enough dedication and commitment, actually we can beat addiction.
Our viewers, one and why GVLC exists is to bring meanings to the life of our survivors and that of their families. And what I'm getting from this both gentlemen and Kakuru has summarized that there is life beyond addiction. Meaning when I see these two gentlemen, it is workable that people can recover from mental illness and even from drug and substance. So that's what I'm getting from you.
Exactly.
So I'll come to you, David. Yes. And I'm sure there are viewers out there who are asking now at Form 2, what contributed, what is this that made you to experiment? Is there any reason that parents who are watching out there, they can learn, or even the young people, because this month we are looking at young people who are out there, they can learn. Are there any reason that made you to start at Form 2?
Yes, thank you for that question. And when I got into the high school, basically there was that transitional stress, because now I was in an environment. I was away from my parents. And apart from that, apart from the transitional stress, I've been brought up by a stepdad. And to me, there was some aspect of father role model or fatherly love that I think was lacking in my life, because at some point I would feel that this man have not been able to accept me. And now when I got into high school, I was able now to like reestablish some of the connection with my friends, especially the senior students, because to me they represented that fatherly figure. Of course, it was on a negative influence, because of that peer pressure, and I wanted to have that sense of belonging, because now I want to feel like somebody is there for me. I can talk to somebody. So I ended up giving in to the peer pressure, because now these colleagues, these fellow students, they were using the substance. That's why I got to taste the cigarettes, the marijuana, and also back home, my father was also an alcoholic.
Okay.
And
now you're stepdad.
Yes, my stepdad. And at some time, I'll steal some of the stuff from him, because sometimes he'll come with the drinks at home, and I'll just take a sip, add some water, and he will not even notice. And I'll get her even from just a little sip. it will get me that high, and I will feel like, yes, I'm a man.
Yeah.
Because now, okay, from my perspective is that from that environment, I thought that if you take alcohol, you are more of a man.
Okay.
Like my stepdad was doing.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, David. I could see you smiling, Gakuru. Are you relating with some of the things
Definitely.
he's sharing?
Definitely. Exactly like when he says that for you to feel like a man, lazima ungekunywa. So for me, I concur with everything that David is saying. At 16, in school, I won't lie, I was the cool kid. But I felt like something was missing. My grades were okay. Nilikuwa nacheza football, but something was missing. So I linked up with the wrong group. Unaona? So for me, in my case, it was peer pressure that actually got me into drinking. And then there was that division, when we were in Nairobi. Do what people from Nairobi are doing. Usifanye ile kitu watu wageshagi wanafanya.
So you came from Nairobi?
I came from Nairobi.
Okay.
So being the cool kid and the rest of the cool kid are drinking, I felt left out. So I had everything working for me, but I still felt like there was this thing that I'm not doing. And that is how actually I got into drinking. I can still remember that first drink that I took. Actually, tulikuwa like 8 of us, a 1 quarter. And just like David is sharing, like, mpaka una feel like,
real man.
something has kicked in.
Yeah.
Like now you are a man.
Okay.
And then kulikuwa pia na issue like, ladies, you want to talk to girls in a party, they are drinking. So for me, basically it was as a result of peer pressure. Yeah.
So what I'm getting, viewers, from both gentlemen is a combination of so many issues that pushes our young people to start abusing alcohol. But something that has catch my attention from you, David, is the fact that when your parents could, or your dad could keep alcohol at home, it also give you a leeway. Then I can hear issues to do with family challenges, the peer pressure, like it's coming out. Now we are here and we want to reach out, before we reach out to the parent, to reach out to these young people who are in high school and who are in campus. They have not started. What is your take to them? And they are going through the same you are going through. They are these cool kids. They're coming from Nairobi. It's not different from what you went through. What would you tell them?
Basically, the way I'll answer that question is, if I was to go back and advise a young me.
Yes, the young you now.
The young me. I will tell him that choices have consequences, but consequences do not have choices. Right now, inaweza kuwa very cool, but later on, inaweza kuwa a disaster. Because we have so many kids right now. Actually, it's a worry, and David can even share this. High schoolers, they are indulging in drugs. Girls as young as 15 are smoking bang. So what I can advise them is that choices eventually have consequences, but consequences do not have choices. That drug that you have started, actually like weed, like bang, it is called the Gitau drug. It opens so many doors to other wings, to other drugs, sorry. Like David has shared alianza na sigara, but eventually, hapo ndio ilimpeleka. So for you out there, who is about to start smoking or drinking, that is a choice you are about to make. And eventually, you might end up regretting it for the rest of your life. So be careful before you start indulging in this, in drugs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll come to you, David, and there are parents there, and already, like he's saying, millions, I mean, if not millions, thousands of our children are into it right now. What do I do as a parent? What can I do now? Please talk to parent out there. You've been a parent. Tell us, is there anything your parents tried to do, and is there anything we can do now?
Yes, there's something can be done. And for the parents who are watching this, I will say that prevention, of course, is better than cure, because I will not wish anybody else can go through what I've gone through. And because I started like mchezo, experimenting, because maybe, of course, we can give all the reasons for somebody can give all the reasons to experiment. But now the problem is that addiction is progressive. And like even in my own case, I didn't start experimenting, hoping or wishing that I'll get into addiction. Nobody does that. Nobody know that he or she will get into addiction. So for the parents, I think talking to the youth, talking about this issue, because at some point the society, there is so much stigma attached to mental health and addiction, and people don't want to talk about it. That's why we are sharing our experiences. Because for a parent to sit down with his children and talk about this thing, I wish I had that chance. If my parent could have been able to guide me rather than model, as in show me that it was the way to go, then maybe I'll not have gone through what I've gone through. So for all the parents, kindly talk about these things. Because at the end of the day, even if your children will not, will still want to experiment, they will be doing that with an they will be making an informed decision. So for you, it's just to create that awareness, talk to the kid, let them know the consequences of these things. Because at the end of the day, they have the consequences.
Okay.
And they are not pleasant.
Let me ask you something, because I also want to tell us what are those stages. Let me ask you, I'm a parent here and I am also abusing alcohol or any kind of drugs and substance. Does it have any impact? And then you're telling me I need to talk about it. How will my kids, are they going to take it positive, negative?
So Becky, how can you preach quote I drink wine? So they have to start from you. Yeah? Because like we say, children learn through socialization.
Okay.
And the first learning institution is the home.
Okay.
So how are you going to tell your kid that taking alcohol
is bad?
Or else you are the one taking these kids for some joints that they take soda and you take beer.
But I'm an adult. I'm an adult.
The kids will do the same thing you are doing because they are learning from you.
Okay.
Actually,
Yes.
kids, they tend to do more of what you are modeling to them than actually what you are telling them.
Okay.
If kama vile David anasema on Sundays unawapeleka out, wewe mnakamata taska na wife, na wanacheza bouncy castle, he will grow up knowing that even your Sunday what to spending. So be careful behaviors that una model in front of your kids. Again, also parents wanafaa differentiate between supporting and enabling.
Okay. Tell us that's viewers, we're still learning new terms. There is supporting and there is enabling.
Because most parents actually want to enable in the name of support.
So what is enabling and what is supporting?
For example, nimekuja home, I'm drunk. I can't see eye to eye with my dad, so I ran to my mom. So my mom atanisikiza and in the end atanipatia some coins.
Okay.
She is enabling my addictive behavior.
All right.
In the name of support. Atasema, he's young, ana marafiki, nataka afanye na marafiki. And actually that is what parents say. Unaona staki ati watu wanakunywa soda na mtoto wangu akunywe soda. So differentiate between supporting and enabling. Again, also parents, nowadays there is open communication. Me growing up hatukuanga na zile communication na mzazi. Mnaweza kaa chini muongee kuhusu addiction ama sex. No, but start teaching your kids. Kama vile David amesema wakiwa wadogo. Mtoto akipitia kitu out there atakuwa na that capability to come and tell you, dad, nimejaribu kupoa sigara na hapa, is it okay?
Okay.
Lakini ikikuwa nile like you don't communicate openly with your kids, kuna that fear, there is that barrier. Your kids will never come to you with anything.
Okay.
So parents support versus enabling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Viewers, a few things that we are learning here is that the role of the parents is very key.
Very key.
And you have said something that is very key, viewers, that you need to watch and you need to get away with this morning, is that are you enabling, are you supporting, and then open communication. So David, I know you want to say something, and as you say something, we also need to hear in a simplified way, such that a parent out there can know and can learn, and a youth out there can learn. What are those stages? Where do I come from? You know, tell me like a class 1. I start here, I go there, to an extent when I am here. And as a parent, at what point do I intervene?
Okay, for a parent, the parent can intervene at any stage. Because,
at any stage.
What we have to look out is for the signs.
Okay, tell us. Because
that your children are using, they are abusing some of the substances. And we are not only talking about the alcohol. We are not talking only about smoking cigarettes. There are so many substances that are emerging and being abused. For instance, we have like all things like cough syrup. Yeah, some of
cough syrup.
Yes, they get you high because they have some a chemical called codeine.
Maybe I need a clarity there, because you see, we go to the hospital
Yes.
and get cough syrup. Is it any cough syrup?
No,
Because we may say this, and the parents will be very sensitive out there. So is there a particular cough syrup that has been, it's there, it's in the guideline of drugs and substance, or is it overuse of a cough syrup?
Yes, there are some of the cough syrup that have a high concentration of codeine. And actually, the kids, through the internet and all that, they'll be able to identify those things. Because like for me, I have also used the same. And I actually used to use the cough syrup with while chewing mirror. Yes. So they are there. You have now to identify what are those cough syrup, what are those substances that are emerging that the young people are abusing. Even for instance, the shoe polish. You know, when you sniff the shoe polish, you get high. Yes.
Parents, you are learning, like I'm learning.
So you'll be able to identify some of these, the use, if your kid is using, through some of, for instance, they can be behavioral change. This kid has been good.
So now you're telling us some of the signs.
Yes, some of the signs.
We need to check.
Yes. You have been relating with this kid well. This kid now, the behavioral changes. This kid wants to isolate him or herself. Doesn't want to be with friend, or even to talk to you, to talk to you like you used to do. You start to notice those things. And also you'll also notice that they may become untidy. And they don't want to clean up their rooms. They don't want you to get in. It's like you're invading their privacy. But you are the parent. But they don't want you to get even into their rooms. Of course, there can be some privacy, but at some point you have to balance. And then also, you can also identify some of the paraphernalias. Like your kid will start to identify with some T-shirts, the mechoro weed, or some rasta caras and all those things. Then you start to know that something is going wrong. So you have to now probe more, probe deeper, because without now checking these kids, the progression of addiction or the use will continue. It will not get better. It will get worse. And also there are some other signs, like you'll see some blood, red eyes, probably from consuming marijuana, smoking marijuana. And also maybe probably this kid will try to keep hiding the red eyes and have shades even at night. Somebody is wearing the glasses, or chewing some gum, or throughout. It's chewing because they want to hide that smell, the substance smell. So those are some of the signs. There are so many signs.
There are many signs.
Yes, there are so many signs. So you just need to, if you notice such signs, you can try to talk to the kid or to the young person. And if it is not possible, you can also refer to somebody who they can connect to them.
Yes. So those are behavioral, and I think from what Kakuda said, then there have to be an open communication. I have to be available to see those signs. Because some of those signs, if I'm not available as a parent, I don't think I'll be able to observe them. Are there other signs before we move now to I am addicted? What do I need to do? Are there other signs as a parent that I need to observe, or anybody out there?
Basically, in this field, we say addiction is like pregnancy. You cannot hide it for long. The same way pregnancy will feature the first month, the second month. By the time after the 8th month, people can see it. So, signs. Kuna so many signs. Change in behavioral, kama vile David amesema. Maybe in grades. He used to be an A student. What is happening to me, to him? He or she. For example, in my case, nilianza mpaka kubadilisha people that I used to associate with. I used to go to church, I'm not going. I started becoming rebellious. Naanza kukasirika vitu kidogo kidogo. Nilikuwa naingia kwa nyumba saa 1, naingia saa 3, na kama vile David amesema, na chew gum. It reached a point mpaka naingia nafika hapo kwa gate na kula kitunguu. Unaona, to mask that smell. So as a parent again, you must be present for you to absorb those things. Unaona, inaweza kuwa pia ni paraphernalia, the group that the kid is working with, ama pia the behavior that is exhibiting on a daily basis. So as a parent, you must be there. Unaona, and you must actually, nimeona mpaka to a point where actually now the kid ana divide the parents. Unaona, mama anaambia baba ama baba anaambia mama, kijana ama msichana anatumia lakini mama anamtetea. Unaona, so as a parent you must read from the same script. You must work as a team. Yeah.
Okay. Let me also ask you talked about anger, and you know there is that phase in their developmental phase, especially teenagers. They are so reserved. They exhibit a lot of anger. Is it something to get me worried, or it's within their developmental phase?
Well, some people consider this to be a phase. Like it is just a stage that they are going through.
Yeah.
But the moment these kids do not have a platform where they can vent this anger,
okay,
unaona, maybe talk to someone, kama vile David amesema. They will go for advice from friends.
Okay.
And they will be advised, mimi nikiwa nimekasirika, when I'm angered, I drink. So as a parent, you should be concerned.
Okay.
Unaona?
Okay.
Again, kama vile nimesema, open and honest communication with the kid is very vital.
Very vital. Thank you so much. Let me ask you, David, as you were abusing drugs at that time, I hear people talking about there is a lot of cheating parents to get money. Did it happen to you?
Yes.
And it's something you can tell parents?
I can actually confess that when you are in addiction, you are the best manipulators.
The best manipulators.
Yes.
Okay.
Because if I'm having those urge or the cravings for the drugs, I'll do anything to get the money so that I can get the drug of my choice. And like in my case, I'll even steal some of the household goods so that I can sell to get the marijuana or cigarette or sometimes the drinks. And also I will also come up with some emergencies.
Okay.
Even when I was employed.
Even
in employment.
Okay.
I would still call my mom, call my shosho, and tell them that everything have been stolen from my house. I don't have anything to eat, and then they'll send the money. So we are best manipulators because we have to do anything to get the money or to get the drug of choice.
Okay. And viewers, this is something that as parents and even young people, they become manipulative. There is a lot of now asking for money that they were not previously asking, because he's saying there is that need. Were you manipulative when you were abusing?
On an industrial scale.
Okay, what is that?
Basically, actually, there was a time nilikuwa na have a talk with my dad, and I was telling him, kama hata niwachie inheritance, I will totally understand. Because hakuna ujanja sijatumia.
You are really a manipulator.
It reached a point, actually nilikuwa mpaka nime blacklist kwa easy places za scrap metal. Because mama kitoka kidogo napita na kitu.
Oh, so
I remember the last thing I sold ilikuwa ni DVD ya mom, ile DVD player.
Yes.
And I was in such a hurry, nilisahau mpaka kuangalia ile nini ilikuwa hapo. CD player ilikuwa hapo ndani. So niliipeleka and the man tested it na ikatoa CD ya wedding ya mom. So ananiambia kushoshua kijana hii ni yako. Nikamwambia so it was that bad.
So you sold your mom's wedding CD
ilikuwa
and DVD.
Karibu iende.
We apologize.
So, for you to understand actually why that is the case, you need to understand basically what addiction is.
Yes.
It is an urge that you cannot stop or control.
Let us understand. Because you see, for us out there, when he gets out with that sufuria, you can imagine the pain of that parent. So help us understand, what is that urge that makes you take that DVD, including wedding photos?
Wedding CD.
Yes, wedding
Basically, it is an urge that you cannot stop or control. And a very good example ilipatiana na a famous scholar ambaye quit addiction as athlete's foot. Unajua athlete's foot? Kuna ile ugonjwa inaitwa athlete's foot.
Yes.
Kuho.
Yes.
That is what they call in the local language. Basically, inakuanga very sweet that ka scratch.
Okay.
Sindio?
Yes.
Lakini the more you scratch it, inakuanga kidonda. Sijui kama ushaona mtu akikuna kuho. mpaka amefunga tumacho ni vile iko sweet. Addiction inaitangwa at least foot of the brain. The moment you start scratching it, it is very hard to stop.
Okay.
By the time unasema I need to stop, you have caused a lot of damage. Ishakuwa kidonda. So for you, you are chasing that high. You cannot stop. You are obsessed with alcohol or addiction.
Okay.
It is the only thing that is preoccupying your mind day in, day out. Uki blackout unaamka, where will I get my next fix? Sina pesa.
Okay.
What can I sell?
All right.
Yeah.
And that is our struggle, David, out there, all parents. You know, we look, and everyone, we look at, he even fell in a pit, but he's waking up, or she's waking up, looking for the next one.
Yes.
It's that urge is that bad.
Addiction is a chronic disease.
So, hold there. So, viewers, what I'm getting, and I'm getting from expert and people who have been there, addiction is a chronic disease.
Yes.
So, you're telling people out there is a disease.
It is a disease. You know, most of the society, how they view the society view addiction, on the aspect of the person who is in addiction, is that person lacks willpower.
Okay.
To change or to stop, because everybody will keep on telling you
Stop,
that just stop. Why don't you stop? Why don't you take alcohol like somebody?
Why don't you moderate anyway?
Yes. But now they don't realize the true nature of addiction, because as I had said earlier, it is progressive, and like any other disease, when you don't get the treatment, it will progress and maybe lead you to something.
Okay.
Yes, like any other disease. So, for instance, if the chronic diseases, you know, when you are taking all the medication and all that, but still it will come back. It is the same thing with addiction, because it have compromised the brain. The substance, when you abuse substances, they interfere with the dopamine, the brain system, because they produce that dopamine. And when now because dopamine is the one that controls the pain and pressure in the body. So now when it gets into the brain, forgetting or treating, actually there is no treatment there is no cure for addiction.
But what people go to do to the rehab?
People go for treatment so that they can live a productive life. But you can never say that you have been cured of addiction. That's why we have been referring to ourselves as recovering addicts.
So I'll ask you, you've been sober for 3 years. That's what you told me.
Yes.
So you've not been cured?
No.
You've been sober for 3 years.
Yes.
You've not been cured?
No. And I know this because if even like right now, I was to get one bottle, the way we said one for the road, I'll end up in a mess.
You relapse again.
Right away. And actually it will be worse than the way I was before I started my sobriety journey.
Okay. I think that's very key, that we need to know there is no cure for addiction. And so young people who are there, they need to know there is no cure.
Yes.
So this is a long-term disease that cannot be cured. But people go to rehab so that you can live a productive. So I want to move to the next phase, because I know our time is really moving. So we are here. We have all the youth there who are addicted. We have everyone out there who is addicted already now. And you are there. Both of you are there. So and you talked about stigma. And now I am understanding is a disease. How do we support people who are addicted? Because to us, and maybe out there, people see them as sinners, the greatest sinners. Because nobody knew what you were telling us. Someone has fallen in a pit, had an accident, and can't stop drinking. So how do we support them?
Yes.
We'll start with you and then I'll come. So David, how do we support them? They're already there. They're addicted.
Yes. And everybody who is in addiction, regardless whether he or she have used for 5 years, 10 years, or 2 days, they all need support.
They all need support.
Yes. And for one, we have to realize that as I have shared, that addiction is a disease. The way we also lobby or support our significant others in the event of other diseases, we should do the same for addiction. Because nobody wants to get into addiction. Nobody plans to get into addiction. it happens.
It happens.
And it can happen to anybody, regardless of age, regardless of gender, regardless of whatever social status. It can happen to anybody. So for everyone who is watching this, I'll say that your support can make a difference in
What kind
someone's
of a
life.
support, David, are you telling me that I need to give someone who is struggling with addiction? Because you've said nobody wants,
Yes.
and that's, I think, a key message.
Yes.
Nobody wants to become an addict.
Yes.
So what is this support, actual support? Do I give the significant other who is struggling with addiction?
Yes, and I also like to recognize that I know, even for most of us who are watching this, that you have tried your best, you have tried so many things to help.
Including setting my sufurias.
Yes, to help somebody,
Yeah.
maybe somebody, maybe a friend, a colleague, or even a family member. I know people do a lot of things, but because we are human beings, we tend to, it reaches a point where you just give up on that person. Like I was telling you, there was a point it reached that everybody, even my family members, they gave up on me. Waliniachia Mungu. Walisema, tumemwachia Mungu. So, what I can advise is that never give up on these people, because people can change. And what you can do is just show them that the help is there. Not enabling, as my brother was sharing, not enabling their addictive activities, but by showing them that if they need to change, there is help. Help is available. They can talk to you. Just because, like in my case, the person who made me make that decision was my boss. And I was about to lose my employment because of what I was doing. I would absent myself from work and all that. But this boss gave me a platform to open up. And I know for men, it is we are really in problem, because we believe that we can handle our problems on our own. And that is the biggest challenge we have as men. Because for ladies, they can share even in
talk,
Jama. But for us, sharing your problem with another man, it's like you are not a man enough. And I would like to say that seeking help is not a sign of weakness. That's what I came to realize. Because when my supervisor gave me that platform, I was able to open up. And that's how I was able to get help. Okay. So if you are watching this, and I know maybe because most of us, we are affected in one way or the other.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
if you have tried this, and you have tried to make interventions on somebody you love or significant others, keep on doing it.
Okay.
Don't give up. And if it is possible, if you are not able to do something, you can also refer. Because you don't expect somebody who is in addiction, and we have said that addiction is a chronic disease, to make an informed decision. This person will never make that decision without the intervention or help from you.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
That's powerful. So Gakuru, back to you. Who helped you? Who gave you the support David is talking about?
In recovery, basically, families are called our grounders. They are always there. But most of the time, because of things that we put them through, they end up giving up. So just like my brother is saying, if you are a parent out there and you are about to give up, just hold on. In my case, almost
Or a sister, or a padre, or anyone.
Recovery is addiction is a family disease. When one member is affected, it affects everybody. And actually, I was reading the other day that World Health Organization has classified addiction as a disease. What that means is that decision to get help for you can be made on your behalf.
Okay.
Because it is a disease. So for me, my mom basically never gave up on me. Alienda far and beyond. There was even a cousin of mine ambaye alikuwa ananiambia, I think akunanga kanisa ina picha yangu in where I live.
Your mom would pray for you.
That is something that a mother can do. Unaona? Ombea mtoto wangu, ombea. She never gave up on me.
Okay.
Unaona? Until mimi mwenyewe pia unajua nilikuwa give up on myself like every day. Nilikuwa na live just at the mercy of circumstances. So don't give up on people, and then we need as a society to demystify this myth associated with the rehabs and the mental health. Because kila mtu akisikia kuhusu mental health anasemanga ni
Wazimu, yeah,
Kila mtu
psychotic,
akisikia
yeah.
kuhusu rehab anasemanga ni waenda wazimu. So as a society we also have a lot to do. We need to demystify that myth. For us to win this battle against addiction, it will take all of us, all stakeholders involved. It is not a one man's battle. Kama vile wanasemanga, it takes the whole village to raise a child. So don't give up on these people. They are just sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Whenever I am doing these shows, I always do shout outs. And I want to do shout outs to David's boss, who gave him a platform, and to Gakuru's mother. Those are heroes. And I know we'll have so many healers out there, because what I'm getting from both of them, that we don't give up. And David has said, we try. But sometimes you get to a point, you've tried your best, and you want to give up. And Gakuru is saying, don't give up. So please speak to our campus guys and everyone who is, please speak to them. I'll start with you. They are already giving up on themselves. They are struggling. And I'll ask you, are they at a point where you feel you want to stop? You as individual, are there a point? Did you get to a point you feel you want to stop?
But the urge.
The urge.
The body was willing.
Okay.
What they say, the body is willing, but the spirit is weak.
Yeah. So speak out to
The
someone
spirit,
out there.
okay.
Speak out to someone out there who want to stop, and they are there, they are feeling they want to give up.
I will start by telling you that actually recovery is the best gift that I've ever given myself. And you who are about to give up, I'm telling you that life is the best project that your life is the best project that you'll ever work on. Just believe. Martin Luther King said that a man must do his own belief and his own believing and his own die. Just believe and then begin and then watch yourself become. But with that also, it takes a lot of commitment and consistency. Commitment will get you started, but consistency will see you through. Just find it in you. Find it in you. Kama imekuzidia uwezi watch on yourself. There are so many facilities out there. Speak to us. That is the reason why we are here today. Speak to us.
Yeah.
Reach out. There is always somebody on the other side waiting for you to show up. So live the kind of life that you're supposed to be living. Because most of the time, there is a book by John Mason, ambayo anasemanga, sometimes in life, you just need to give yourself a conversational slap. Wake up. Your life is just waiting for you to show up with everything that was promised to you. And with that, to live that purposeful life ambayo Jeremiah 29:11 are promising.
Okay.
So that is the message I can say to you out there and those people that are struggling with addiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you went to the rehab, did you have struggles?
Yeah, the first week actually was hell for me. Because I had what we call withdrawals. For me it was bad. Let me take you back before I went to rehab. The last week before I went to rehab, I was actually dying.
Dying.
Addiction ilikuwa imenifikisha to a point where singekula without drinking.
So
Do you
you
know how
fast.
sad that it is? That's
So
sad.
unajua drinking is not water.
So for me to
Unachapa tu.
for me to eat, lazima ningekunywa. Nisipokunywa nikule, I will throw up.
Okay.
Do you know how sad that is?
Very sad.
Tumbo identify chakula as a foreign object. So the moment I take food, I throw up. Like the moment I take alcohol and take food, it is okay. So when I went to rehab, the first 1 week ilikuwa hell. Because nilienda rehab haikuwa na nurse. Hizi watu like medically managed withdrawals. The first 3 days, nilikuwa mpaka na question, is this the right decision that I've made? Because shakes, sweats, hallucinations. You can umeshaisikia story ya hallucination?
Yes,
I actually experienced one inaitangwa tactile hallucination. Where basically unasikia ni kama kuna vitu zinakupandililia. So it was hell for me. Lakini kama vile naambia our viewers, that person is struggling with addiction out there. It is not going to be easy, but in the end it will be worth it.
So it's doable.
It is doable.
Okay.
It is doable. With the right commitment and dedication, you can actually achieve it.
Thank you. So Gakuru has spoken to the young people and everyone who is struggling. Please speak to people out there to stop stigmatizing the people who are struggling with addiction. It could be the government, it could be everyone. Speak to people you know that they can support, from the family to all the stakeholders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stigma has been one of the biggest challenge.
Was it for you? Maybe you
yes,
can. Did
it
you
was.
feel stigmatized?
Yes, actually, even when I was planning to go for rehabilitation program, even my own colleagues were discouraging me. And Ai, umefika hapo. Ai, are you mad? Because you know, the perception is that rehabilitation is for people who are mentally ill. That's what they'll call you, are you mad? But stigma has actually been the biggest challenge that make people even not come up who are suffering, to come out and seek the help they need. And also, even for the families who have these people who are suffering in addiction and mental health. Because stigma cut across all the societies and family settings. And it doesn't help.
Okay.
Because, but I think the reason why people stigmatize is because they don't know the true nature of addiction or mental health.
We even didn't know that it's a whole disease.
Yes.
That cannot be cured.
Yes, because stigma comes out of, because of the fear of the unknown. You don't know what, like the same thing that is happening currently. Because people don't understand that when you go for treatment in terms of corona, you have been treated, you see. So it is the same thing. Stigma has been the biggest challenge.
Okay.
And I always advocate, and that's why we are sharing our stories. It's not because we want people to see that we have become
strong
or
the heroes.
Yes, but we want to encourage,
demystify that thing.
and encourage that person out there who is suffering, or that person, that family member who knows somebody who is suffering, but they are reluctant to seek help. That addiction is just a disease like any other disease.
True.
Come up, help that, support that person.
So tell people out there.
Go for rehabilitation. It is just like any other treatment you go for it's like a hospital. Because people also think about they say that when you go for rehabilitation, you're injected with some drugs that make you like go
Zombie.
like become a zombie.
Is it true? Are you
No.
injected?
Actually, the objective of going for the rehabilitation is to get us a safe environment.
Okay.
So that now you can be able to. Rehabilitation means going back to the original status.
Okay, original me.
Yes.
And I'm given a platform.
Yes, to do that.
To do that.
Yes.
So
but
rehab
through medication, through therapies, and life skills training.
True.
Yes.
So I think people need to know about rehab and stop stigmatizing rehabilitation.
Yeah.
Because I guess everyone here of rehab and is there like, oh, he's that level.
Yes.
So rehab is you're given a platform to reflect on yourself and to go back, I'll use your word, the original you. So any young person there, anybody who would like to go to the rehab, it is workable, it is doable. And viewers, we are almost coming to the end of our program. I don't know, David, what have we not unpacked?
I would also like to reach out to people, especially in the learning institutions, because I usually relate my addiction from that setting, because I started to experiment mostly when I was in high school. And because of that feeling that you want to have that sense of belonging. And like in campuses, you find that there are these fraternity groups that you want to associate yourself with. And these groups, they have set some limit or some requirements as a initiation or rite of passage, so that you can join them. And that's how people get into, because you'll find most of the young people, when they are living with their parents before they join the colleges and all that, they have control, or even if some have tried or experimented, they have some control. But when they get into the colleges or the campuses,
freedom.
They have the freedom, and then they fall into the
peer pressure.
The peer pressure because of these fraternities, and because when you get into these fraternities, the people who are admired, they are admired because of their prowess in getting into violence, in drinking, heavy drinking, and also maybe in court success with women, and that's how even you get to gender-based violence and all those things, because you need to prove a point that you can belong there.
Yeah, true.
And these things have consequences, because at the end of the day, you own your own life. you don't own anybody else.
That's true.
Because now, if you need to prove yourself, if you need to prove to somebody that you can drink more, then that you are man enough, that is a big problem. And also, I also like to reach out to men. And again, I will repeat, seeking help is not a sign of weakness.
True, true.
And because nowadays men are so concerned, because sometimes there's like a change of role. Like we don't want to accept our vulnerability as men. We don't want to believe that like sometimes I cannot be able to provide. I cannot be the provider, the traditional role in quotes. So men need to accept that vulnerability, that sometimes even your spouse, your wife can support you. So, and that masculinity believe that we as men need to tackle our problems on our own. Ati kufa kimwanaume. That is a big scam.
There's no kufa
That is a big scam.
It's a scam.
Mwanaume mwenye amekufa anasaidia nani?
Yeah,
yes.
True.
So,
thank you.
Men, kindly talk about your issues, especially mental health, wellness.
Yes.
If you're going through something,
talk about it.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Seek help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I like seeking help to all of us, especially men, as David is saying, is not a it's not a sign of weakness. Actually, it's strength. Because you want to support your family. And I like the way you're saying, all these are related to gender-based violence. And because we want to say no to gender-based violence, we also have to address some of these triggers or some of these contributions that contributes to gender-based violence. What are your last words?
Addiction is a projection, basically. Picture addiction as a branch in a tree. Many people focus on addiction, many people focus on that branch. But where actually issues are, ni yuko kwa roots, the roots of addiction. We call them underlying issues. Because watu wanaangalianga wanaona mlevi. But what is this guy? What is he going through? Kama vile nani amesema, toxic masculinity. Unaona, ndio inatuma like mtu akuwe angered. The same way people wanaona addiction, but they do not understand what this guy is going through. So for us to totally deal with addiction, lazima tukate ama to deal with the underlying issues ambazo ni the roots of addiction. Because tukikata tu ka branch, katamea tena. But if we work on the roots, if we work on the underlying issues, actually that is the first step, that is the first thing as far as helping an addict is concerned. Yeah.
And I think we've learned a lot that, again, we have to deal with the roots, as addictions are just fruits and branches. And we want to reach out to people out there who are struggling with any kind of substance. Yes, we have learned today that it's a disease, it's a struggle, and we know inner you, no one from our participants, they are saying no one wants to be addicted. But because you are there, seek for help. These guys have been there. They have done drugs. You told me more than 10 years?
Yes.
He struggled for more than 10 years, Gakuru?
The same case.
More than 10 years. And they came out. They seek for help. Now, they are helping others. They are now counselors, helping others. They have been sober for more than 3 years. But you told me, even when you are sober for 3 years, you can relapse if you don't take care of yourself.
That's true.
You can relapse.
Yes.
And so if people would like to contact you or to reach you, Gakuru, where would they get you? I know there are young people who are there. They may not go to their parents, but they can get you. And young people, the good thing, they're using social medias. And where can they get you?
We have a page on Facebook. Inaitwa Hope is Home Counseling Services. Basically, we create awareness. Hope is Home Counseling Services. I also have my YouTube channels, Bernard Gakuru, and you can also reach me. Our business line is 0754 889908. So Hope is Home Counseling Services, a Facebook page that actually, it is a platform where actually we find solace in each other. Yeah.
So you're on Facebook?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube, Bernard Gakuru. And my number is 0754 889908.
All right.
Yeah.
David, if any young person there or anybody, men who you are speaking to, they would like to reach you, where can they get you?
Yes, I do a lot of community outreach programs. And because I work with Kenya prisons, and they have given me that opportunity to work on this program. Currently, I'm based in Nyeri at the regional offices, central region offices. And I'm also on Facebook, David Mushia. I also have a YouTube channel where I upload videos on awareness on addiction and mental health. Sergeant David Mushia.
Sergeant David Mushia.
Yes, I was actually promoted after.
Congratulations.
Yes.
That's a prize.
Yes. So somebody can subscribe or watch the videos. They are very informative and educative. And I'm also I can also give out my number 0735 017 800. That is the number for the 0735 017 800. That is the number that somebody can call me, make inquiries, share, talk, and I'm always willing to help where I can.
Okay.
And I've been getting a lot of refers, and I can also try to connect all because we have that network.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, even viewers. Thank you, guys.